Hello, Brett Ellis with the Ellis team at Keller Williams down here in sunny Southwest Florida. Today I want to share with you a negotiating tip and a creative financing thing that we can do to help buyers get into properties that helps them out a lot, and not every agent knows this. So here's how it works. And this is just one example, okay? There's different prices, there's different amounts down, and each one of these loans varies by amount. But let's say you're buying a $500,000 home, okay? So we take $500K. And let's say we're putting 20% down. So that would be $100,000 down. Okay? That makes your loan amount $400,000. Now, I just checked, and these rates are as of this morning. They could change by this afternoon, they'll change by next week. They fluctuate every day. But based on a $400,000 mortgage with 20% down, your rate is about 7.5%, and the buyer or somebody has to pay $2,000 to get to that rate. There is no 0-point option right now, which tells me the rates are a little higher than 7.5%, but they're in between. They're not 7 5/8, they're not 7 3/4. They're just in between, so there's no 0-point option, okay? So right now it costs about $2,000 to buy that rate down. So I got to thinking, let's say I'm a buyer and I find a property that I like. How am I better off? Am I better off asking the seller to come down, let's say $10,000 in price, or are we better off doing it a different way? So I did some calculations, I got with a lender, and this is what we came up with. And this is there's a pro tip that you want to know about, okay? Always pays to hire the best realtor you can get the best lender you can get the best team, and you'll be all set. So if we buy that rate down, it costs, instead of $2,000, it costs $10,400. So it costs an additional $8,400. We can buy that rate down to 6.25%. So let's look at what the payment would have been at 7.5%, paying $2,000 down. That payment would have been $2796.86. That's just principal and interest. That's not taxes, insurance, HOA fees, condo fees, any of that. Just PI, okay? I'll write this down, P and I, okay? At 7.5%. Now, if I take that about $10,000, that's as close as I could get it, and make the rate 6.25, I got that payment down to $2,462.87. Okay. So, how much does that save us? That saves us about $333.99. That's about as close to $334 as you could get. So then what I did was I went back and said, let's say I didn't buy the rate down. Instead, I got we negotiated the seller to come down $10,000. So I reduced the borrowing amount to about $390. The numbers are, they change a little bit, but for the sake of this illustration, I'm going to do $390. So if I do it at $390, I got to go back to the 7.5%. That payment equals $27.26.94. So it's about $70 a month cheaper than this. So I'll write down $70 a month savings over this rate. But it's not the $334,000 savings this is. So if you're going to stay in the home for any more than a year and a half, 2 years, it pays you to someone buy the rate down. The buyer can buy the rate down, but the seller can buy the rate down. Instead of asking the seller to pay $10,000 here or there, you can ask them to pay $10,000 in buyer's closing costs, which could include buying the rate down. So here I did some math. At the end of the first year, you would save, I'll put year one, you would save $4,007.88. By the year two, you'd save $8,015.76. By year three, you would save in your payments $12,023 $1,000,000.64, much less than it was that $10,400, and we got 27 more years to go. So you can see how you structure a deal and how you ask a seller to pay for things can make a big difference to the buyer. Here's the other thing. A lot of times sellers are stuck on a number. They might be stuck on 500,000, or let's say you're put 10% down, for, 450 or whatever. You give them their number, just ask them to pay some closing costs, and they feel like, hey, I got my number. They tell all their neighbors, they tell their friends, their family, I got my number, I sold it for what I wanted. Yes, it included some closing costs, but nobody else knows that. And they get their number, and you get a win-win-win because you're saving approximately $334 a month. I didn't calculate this over 30 years, but that's going to be a lot of money. Maybe you only keep it 10 years. Well, what's that, about probably $33,000 over 10 years? Yeah, about $34,000, $34,000 over 10 years. So it's all how you structure the deal up front. So we at the Ellis team, we could be a resource for you. If you're not in our area, we could refer you to a great agent, but always get a good agent who knows how to work these numbers and how to present options to sellers. Because sellers, you should pay attention to, because this can help you sell a property. We can advertise when everyone else is also saying, oh, I don't like my 7.5% rates. We could do some buy downs and advertise your home with like a 6.25% rate. And now your home becomes more attractive, because not every seller will consider this. And it's all about being the most attractive home. Our inventory is almost quadrupled in the last year and a half. People don't know that. So sellers, you want a way to stand out. So this is very beneficial for buyers, very beneficial for sellers. You just got to get with people who know what they're doing. I hope that this example helps explain it. If not, you can rewatch this video a million times. And our team is always here for you. You can always reach us at 239-489-4042. You can search for property at leecountyonline.com, and you can get your home's value at swflhomevalues.com. I'm Brett Ellis with the Ellis team, and thanks for tuning in.
If you're selling or you're buying or moving right away, the Ellis team can help you. Call the Ellis team.